You probably don't remember this dude. No reason to, really, other than the fact that 3 years ago he was killed during a knockout game attack by a bunch of black people in Syracuse, New York. We don't really know what Michael Daniels was doing in that black neighborhood, other than when he was a teenager, he probably didn't dream that when he was 51, he'd be buying beer by the can in that kind of place at that kind of time. But that's what he was doing. They found him at a bus stop, just a short walk from the liquor store. A bunch of black people saw him, punched him up a little bit, and knocked him down. When they saw he was down and he wasn't really going to give any resistance, they had walked away. They turned around, came back, then they started kicking him. They killed him. And while they killed him, they literally knocked his eye out of his socket. Everybody in Syracuse, of course, was rushed to say this had nothing to do with race. They found a bunch of counselors to say, yeah, you know what, we need a lot more programs around here. And there was even a few little smattering of white people do it too. Anyway, they eventually arrested this guy. I think his name's Andrew Gray. He and his buddies tried, convicted, and of course the chief of police said this is a tragedy for several families, not just the victim's family, but for these boys' families, because this is going to affect them the rest of their life. Yes, it is. Ha ha ha. Well, the rest of their life, in this case being 18 months, that's how long Ander spent incarcerated for killing that old white dude. Gets out. First thing he does is go back to prison. The local paper ran a story going, what's that killer doing in prison? What's that killer doing in school? Excuse me for mixing up the word prison and school. And everybody said, well, he needs a second chance and blah, blah, blah. Nobody gave a damn about that guy, Daniels, whatever the hell his name was, because he was just an old white dude buying beer by the can. Didn't take long for our buddy Ander to get back in trouble in school. He was involved in a large episode of black mob violence in Syracuse. Not that uncommon there. During the episode, the principal comes over to try and break it up, at which time Ander informs the principal that if he doesn't get out of his face, he's going to knock him out too. Pretty soon he was back in court. And here we have, and recently, let's just read exactly what happened. This was just a day or two ago now. Let's read what happened to our buddy, the killer of Michael Daniels, when he returned to court for another episode of violence. So not only is he beating the hell out of some of his fellow students here, and he's arrested for that, he threatens the principal. There comes the good part. This comes courtesy of Judge, I think her name is Judy Uplinger. Judge Uplinger. Good old Syracuse. I'll quote from the paper. Uplinger agreed that Grady should write a letter of apology. Once that happens, she promised to adjourn his disorderly conduct charge and dismiss the charge if he remains out of trouble. Wow. We got a killer in school, participates in violence and threats of violence. They take these unbelievably serious charges, then they reduce them. Remember, threatening somebody with violence, that's a felony, okay? They reduce them to disorderly conduct, and they force him to write a letter of apology, then they'll throw the whole damn thing out. And we don't really do that many follow-ups around here, because the point of this channel, one of the points is to say there's something really, 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 really bad happening all across the country. And so we just try to use these individual cases as ways to give examples of what other people like to do with statistics, I like to do with real stories. We also like to, of course, show the difference between what people say happened and what really happened, and how this black on white crime, black mob violence is wildly out of proportion as it was here. But one of the other things we talk about around here is the catch and release. How many people, when we catch them for doing really, really nasty things, they have really, really long criminal records. That's the case with our buddy here, Andrew Grady. Sorry, I've been calling him Grady. And everybody always wants these solutions. Calls us, Colin, can we never talk about solutions? Well, I was saying for a long time, my solution is knock it off. I was with Anthony Cumia a few weeks ago, and he gave an even better solution. Shorter than my 3 words. Shorter by 66% than my 3 words. He came up with a good one. Behave. And at some point, somebody's going to have to start figuring out what this catch and release is all about, including this judge who I'm nominating for her name's Karen Uplinger, that's right. Including this judge, Karen Uplinger, who I'm not nominating for the dumbest judge in America, even dumber than the judge who yelled at the 3-year-old kid and his parents when the 3-year-old kid said he was now afraid of black people because of the home invasion where they came into his house with guns and did all sorts of nasty business before being caught. And the judge admonished the family while giving one of the people involved in the home invasion a little slap on the wrist and an admonition to go and don't do it again. Anyway, I hope I'm not talking too much during this video, because I'm just trying to get my mind around the enormity of letting this guy go once, letting him go again, and everybody sitting up and saying, yeah, that's their new way of doing it now, because we know that incarceration is not the solution. Incarcerating people for crime is the problem. Accusing people of crime is the real problem. Anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy, and that gives us even more reason to remember this one crucial piece of advice. Don't make the black kids angry.